everybody. I'm Cindy Kopp, and welcome to my kitchen. Today I'm going to share with you a recipe that I made up that's been a part of my routine to help me maintain my weight loss of 125 pounds. Every week I make a different soup, but this is by far a regular soup that's in our refrigerator. It's my vegetable soup. And as you can see, I use a big variety of vegetables. Whatever I have on hand goes into making this soup. I have some ingredients that start the soup recipe, things that are the ingredients that really make the flavor of the soup very hearty. I start with onion and garlic, celery, and fennel's one of my favorites. It's so nutritious and it adds so much flavor to the soup. Then I'll add things like peppers. I usually add a potato or a sweet potato to give it some substance, some carrot. And then in the next bunch of produce, I'll add things like cabbage or Brussels sprouts, different squash, broccoli, sometimes cauliflower, which I didn't have today, but do have broccoli. And then at the end, I'll add things that cook quickly like mushrooms, some chopped up kale and basil that are from my garden. I like to use canned green beans. They're already cooked and ready to go and super easy. And then I add some kind of protein at the end. My favorite is seasoned turkey sausage, but beans also work well. I love to use a big variety of spices to enhance the flavor of the soup. And I like to use bone broth for my base. Bone broth, chicken broth is what I typically use, but a good vegetable broth also works very well. I'm going to go ahead and start chopping the vegetables, and then we'll assemble the soup. All right, we have all of our vegetables that will start the soup all mixed together. You'll see I chose 3 different kinds of bell peppers, half of an onion, a couple stalks of celery. I do like to use the leaves too because they're very nutritious. About 8 cloves of garlic. I like to add a lot of garlic, adds a lot of great flavor. Now we're going to take this over to the pot, saute it in some olive oil, and start to steam it till it's nice and soft. And then we'll add our broth. I add a couple tablespoons of olive oil. Wait until it's hot before adding the onion and peppers and celery and garlic. Then I'll saute it for a few minutes until the vegetables are nice and soft. Our vegetables are getting nice and soft now. They've been cooking for about 5 to 10 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and add the bone broth. And then I'll turn the fire down to a low simmer and let this simmer just a bit before I add the next batch of vegetables. Go. All right, now I'm going to start chopping up the root vegetables. I like to have all of my vegetables chopped up really small, like little small bites in my soup. So you'll see that I usually cut up my carrots one way, and then I cut them up again so that they're quartered. And then I'll just chop them up small. do that with all of my carrots. This piece was already pretty thin. Carrots come in so many beautiful colors now. I really like the purpley ones that you can get that add some color to your soups too. This is a white carrot. Alright, now it's time to start cutting and peeling the sweet potato. I like to cut off the ends, and then I like to use a peeler. Peel it, and then I'll cut it up into small pieces. It's time for us to add our root vegetables, the chopped up carrot and sweet potato. We'll go ahead and keep this on simmer about 15 minutes before we add the rest of the vegetables. I'm going to start in on the Brussels sprouts now. They're one of my favorite things to add to a vegetable soup. Now I'm going to start on the squash. Just like the carrot, I like to have my squash cut up into little small pieces. So I'm going to cut the zucchini so it has long slivers. And then that will enable me to just make small pieces. I'm just going to chop this broccoli right up into small pieces. Stem and all. I really like to use the stem. All right, while the vegetables are cooking, I'm going to go ahead and cook up this turkey sausage. As I mentioned earlier, this is my protein of choice. I like it because it's lean, and because it's sausage, it's already seasoned, and the flavor really enhances the soup. So I'm going to go ahead and just mash this down and cook it up till it's all in a crumbled turkey little mess at the bottom. And we'll add this to the soup at the end. Our root vegetables are pretty soft, so I'm going to go ahead and add the rest of our vegetables, the zucchini and yellow squash, Brussels sprouts, and broccoli. Make sure that they're covered with broth, and if you need to add a little bit more, you can, depending on how many vegetables you put in, but they should always just be covered with plenty of liquid around them. And go ahead and simmer this for another 20 minutes or so, and then we'll add the last of our ingredients. Okay, we're going to chop up the last of our ingredients. Just chop them up small. Our mushrooms. You can use whatever greens you're growing in your garden and just chop them up finely and add them at the end for a little extra nutrient in your soup. This is just some kale that I had and some basil. I love basil in a soup. As you can see, our vegetable soup looks great. The vegetables have cooked down and they're very soft. So now we're going to add the last of our ingredients, the mushrooms, the chopped herbs, the chopped kale. I'm going to add a can of green beans because I didn't have any fresh green beans this time. They're already cooked, so they go in at the end. This is also when you add your cooked protein. Turkey sausage for me. And then you add your seasonings. I like the Trader Joe's 21 seasoning salute, a generous amount. The chicken bone broth that I use is unsalted, So you want to add a generous amount of seasoning. This is an especially big pot, so add a good amount, a healthy amount. And then of course you cook it down for another 10 minutes or so, let all of these flavors integrate, and then you'll want to taste it, sample it, and see if it's the seasoning flavor that you like. And then we'll be ready to eat it. Our soup is all done. Look how beautiful it is with all those vegetables. Time to enjoy.